You know, after UFC 315, I had to go to this next man for a chat. He is the NMF, one of the most exciting guys to ever do it in the welterweight division, one of the baddest strikers in the history of the UFC. A very busy man, but he finds some time in his schedule to bring a bit of Wonderboy into Submission Radio's life. Stephen Thompson, welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you for having me. Are you kidding me? It's a pleasure.
Dude, I missed you. But before we get into what's next with you and everything that's going on, take me through your reaction on JDM now being the new champion of the welterweight division, your division.
I've seen Belal take down a lot of good guys with good takedown deep, including myself. I mean, took out the champ. He's beaten me. He was on a crazy fight winning streak, and he just couldn't get Madalena down. And so it was a stand-up battle. I mean, they beat each other up. It was literally a slugfest. It was awesome. And I don't remember how many times he defended the takedown, but JDM looked really, really good. We got a new champ, man. UFC's got a new champ. I don't know if you saw Belal's lip or not, but yeah, that was nasty, man. Nasty.
Dude, yeah, Belal came out. By the way, all credit to Belal, right? Because I want to get your thoughts if you think his game plan maybe was a bit off. There's a bit of criticism because you didn't really go for the takedowns early. He let JDM get comfortable, and then he couldn't really get into the rhythm that Belal usually gets into. But also full credit to him for sticking through that fight. He was taking some serious damage, man, and he kept coming forward.
Yeah, man, that shows the toughness of the former welterweight champ, man. I mean, any one of those guys that make it to the top are, I mean, not only they're skillful and they're good everywhere, but they're tough as nails, hard to put away. They're the type of guys that are ready for the grit and the grind of a 5-minute round fight. So going out there stepping off against any one of those guys, you have to know that you're in for the roughest night of your life because they're not going to make it easy for you. You know, there have been guys that I have faced leading up to the fight where, you know, they just kind of gave up, or maybe they're looking for a way out of there. But then you fight guys like him who are just in your face the entire time. Like, you know, going into the fight that it's going to be tough. Like you're coming out of the fight, even though you win or lose, even though you win, you're coming out damaged, if you will, you know, and Belal and JDM, both of those guys are tough as nails, but JDM just looked like he just wanted it a little bit more in that fight. I mean, takedown defense, we knew he had great boxing. So I knew if he could keep the fight standing, that Belal Muhammad would have a rough night, especially with the boxing combinations of JDM. So crisp, so smooth, and he's got crazy, crazy power. I mean, it takes somebody like JDM. I don't understand. People don't know how strong that guy is. Like, to defend the takedown over and over and over again, and just to be able to get back up, that's tough. That's tough. And man, I mean, hats off to both of those guys. Like you said, Belal stayed in there, man. I mean, he was going to remember. JDM was going to remember him that night if Belal was going to lose, and he was right there toe to toe with him every step of the way.
Gotta ask you, man, how do you rate JDM's boxing? Where do you put it in the top boxing of when it comes to the UFC?
I mean, in MMA, period, it's got to be up there, man. It's got to be up there. I mean, I would say, like, you know, right now, I would say he's got to be in the top 5. I mean, and just plain out boxing, he's got to be in the top 5. There are some other good boxers out there in the UFC. Actually, Timmy Kwamba, I think he fought in Kansas City. I know he's not even ranked in the UFC, but he's got some really, really good boxing as well. If we're just talking strictly boxing, I mean, he's got to be up there in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah, it would be him, Ilia, Topuria, right?
Oh yeah, Topuria. Yeah, Topuria's got some nasty boxing too. Dude, who else? I'm trying to think here without going into like kickboxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's tough because these guys put everything together so well. I don't know if they're boxing or just straight up kickboxing, but most of the time when you see JDM, it's his hands. It's his hands. And he's relentless with it. He's in your face with it. And he doesn't mind taking damage, which makes it even tougher. You know what I mean? For a guy like myself, I don't like getting hit, so I try to move in and out. But when you got a guy in your face, you just can't get him off with you. It's like wrestling, but with striking. Like, you can hit him back, but he's coming back with 3 or 4 punches. And that breaks people. That breaks people mentally. And I've seen him do it. I mean, the way he knocked out Randy Brown, and Randy Brown just had a recent amazing performance. I think it was Fight of the Night in Kansas City. But what JDM did to him was just awesome.
It's interesting, yeah, because he stays in the pocket, right? And he'll actually slip the punches. So the guys will be landing, but he'll do those minute slips that give him the angle to then. But he basically, it's crazy because you don't see many guys, apart from him and Ilia and a couple of guys like you mentioned, no one can actually utilize boxing in MMA. And he gets behind his jab. It's very, very fascinating. He's got that kind of
tight guard, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because you say that. I worked with a lot of boxers, coming up my kickboxing days. A lot of guys from Atlanta would come down and get some boxing in with us. And the way that they move their head, they move just enough to be able to slip the punches, right? You know he's had some good boxing training. But when you have 18-ounce or even 12-ounce gloves on, boxing gloves, you want to move your head just enough to where that punch barely grazes you, right? And if you notice in that fight, he moved his head just enough. But I think the black eye was just from the grazing of Belal's punches, just barely passing. But when you have those 4-ounce gloves, man, it doesn't matter if it's a full-on punch. It could be just a small graze. It's going to do damage to you. But it's because of that little slight head movement that he has. He's getting grazed. He's getting hit a little bit, but it shows damage in the fight. But it was well worth it because he's slipping. He's coming back with his punches. And I think that's what makes him kind of fun to watch, the finesse of the boxing with him when it comes to him. And it brings out, it kind of gives credit to the old school boxers back from just back in the day. Where they fought bare knuckle, you know what I mean? They would go like 80 rounds and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny to see. Back in the day, those guys had cauliflower ear, and they were strikers. They weren't wrestlers, but they would have cauliflower ears just from taking punch. You very rarely do you see that in boxing nowadays, But it's cool, and to be able to have a good new champ. I mean, the welterweight division right now is just crazy, up and down, up and down. And now you got Islam Makhachev wanting to go up and face off against him.
Yeah, man. So what do you think? Like, obviously, it's yet to be confirmed, but that is the plan. That is what Islam wants. Apparently, if the UFC can make it happen, that's what's going to happen. Let's say Islam comes up to your weight division and fights Jack. Who do you think wins?
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 to the 215. Some of the guys that I faced would walk around at that weight. I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Belal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JDM.
Do you think Islam should be able to retain his lightweight belt? Let's say it's Ilia and Charles. Should that be for the interim belt, in your opinion? Should the UFC let Islam hang on to his belt after everything he's accomplished?
I think so. I mean, why not? I mean, we've had double champs before, and it's been a while since we had double champs. When was the last double champ? If you mind me asking,
it's a good question. Well, we had DC, right? He was a double champ.
I know Conor McGregor was a double champ, obviously.
Henry Cejudo.
Henry Cejudo. But it's been a while since we've had a double champ. So what Islam has done in the 155 division, I don't see why not. Let him hang on to it. If he goes up and beats Belal, awesome. We'll see if he stays in the welterweight division. But I think his true division is going to be the 155er. I think he wants to kind of do something a little different. He wants to, make his mark in the UFC history by becoming double champ. And it makes sense. I mean, he's done what he can with the 155ers. Obviously, Ilia Topuria wants to come up and wants to make that fight happen. But I would like to see that fight. I really would like to. If he goes up and wins it, you got to fight. You got to fight Topuria after. I mean, who does Topuria fight next? right?
I mean, yeah, well, it's got to be like the interim title fight, UFC
Yeah.
317 against Charles Oliveira. But then you got all those other fights at lightweight, like your Paddy Pimblett, Armin Sarukians, Dan Hookers, also Justin Gaethje's. But
Yes.
then also at welterweight, let me ask you this. Let's take JDM out of the picture for a second. Let's say Islam beats JDM. How do you think Islam would do against some of the top contenders at welterweight? Because the difference really is at welterweight, you do have some pretty wrestling heavy contenders. You know, you've got guys like Sean Brady. You've got guys like, you've got guys like Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's obviously a guy that you know very well. You got guys like maybe like a Kamaru Usman back up there. How do you think an Islam, and Ian Gary's obviously a very smart tactician. How do you think Islam would do against the top of the best of welterweight?
I think I think he would do fairly well, especially if he's fighting other grapplers. You know, I think that's right up his alley, especially Sean Brady. I mean, they're about the same height, same build. The thing is that Islam Makhachev won't have to do the heavyweight cut. So I think you'll see a better Islam Makhachev. You know, that the weight cut takes a lot out of you, and I know he kills himself to get down to 155, and he won't have that at the 170 division. So I think you'll have a better in shape, a guy that's coming into the fight. You know, when you're cutting weight, you're never going into the octagon 100%. That's just the reality of it. You're not going in there at 100%. So when you don't have to cut as much weight, I think you'll have a strong 170 guy out of Islam Makhachev. Now, you know, when it comes to the taller opponents like Ian Gary and the Shavkat Rakhmonovs, I think he may have a harder time. But just because they're a lot bigger, their takedown defense is really, really well. They're very good everywhere. May have a harder time. I think he may have a harder time, but we'll never know until we go up. We see him go up and if he beats JDM, I think if JDM beats him, he's definitely going back down 155 and he stays there. But I don't know, man. It's kind of up to him what he wants to do with his career. And I feel like he's still young in this division. You know, I came into the MMA fairly late in my career. I was 28, 29, 30, you know, close to 30 at the time. So like, I feel like my prime I was 30, probably 35 was my prime.
Oldest guy in the UFC, but you look like the youngest guy in the UFC. How's that right?
You just made my day, man.
Brother, what are you talking about? You look the same. I've been interviewing you for so long. You look the same. Let me just quickly ask you before we move off Islam and Ilia, who do you have in that fight at lightweight?
Man, I think Islam. You know, he's fought some of the best strikers in the 155 division and some hard-hitting mamma jammas. And he's just so good at adapting to his opponents, you know. He's very good at adapting midway. It doesn't matter what kind of changes they make. He's really good at adapting to them. He's got fairly good boxing, but he's just relentless with his wrestling. I think with his wrestling background, I think he can nullify Ilia Toporia's jiu-jitsu and keep him flat on his back. Not really, he probably could submit him, but I think where, you know, Islam and Khabib were so good at is just being very top heavy, and just breaking his opponent's spirits. Like, that's their specialty. You know, they break their spirits. Like, they just lay like a heavy, you know, 100-pound wet blanket on top of you, and they make you struggle to get up to your feet. You're giving everything you got to get back up to your feet. And once you get back up to your feet, guess what they're doing? They're returning you back down to the mat and making you do it all over again. And after like 3 or 4 times of that, it's like, you know, no wonder guys are like deliberately turning their back and, you know, looking for a way out when you're fighting guys like that. I think Islam could do that to Ilia Topuria. Now, it's an interesting fight for sure, because anybody could win it. It's a flip of a coin at that level, and everybody has a puncher's chance, especially as hard as you know, Topuria can hit. He can change a fight around really quick at any point in time. But just the consistency of Islam Makhachev, I think that's what makes him special.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. And if you want to support the show, please jump on manscaped.com right now and use the code word submission. You get 15% off and free shipping. And I want to talk to you guys about a very special product called the Chairman Pro. The Chairman Pro is the perfect Father's Day gift for those in America, or just any gift, or a gift for yourself here in Australia or New Zealand. For a person who deserves to look and feel his best, this just isn't any razor. The Chairman Pro is a high-tech, data-approved grooming update. It's an electric face shaver that can tackle up to 5 days of growth, features 2 interchangeable blade heads, and whether you're cleaning up for golf, dinner, or just another accidental nap on the recliner, make sure you do it with style with the Chairman Pro. Of course, I mentioned the interchangeable skin-safe blade heads, but what about the fact that it's got the Flex Adjust technology? It's waterproof. The battery life is awesome with 75 minutes of runtime, and it has a display to tell you when you're running low on a charge. Of course, it comes with a USB-C cable, and it has wireless compatibility too. Travel log, don't think that you've got a vibrator in your bag as you travel. LED spotlight to make sure that you can sort it out in the dark. And a 2-year warranty from MANSCAPED that has you sorted, giving you peace of mind with every use. I love the Chairman Pro. It is the electric shaver for everybody up there that could tackle 5 days of growth, and of course features the kind of charging capability, the kind of waterproof capability, the kind of display capability with its LED light that you need. Manscaped has you sorted. Jump on manscaped.com right now, 15% off with a code word submission and free shipping. And if you are watching this video as well, I've noticed a lot of people who watch these videos are not subscribers. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to the videos that you watch. It really helps me out a lot. If you listen on Libsyn, on Spotify, on any other device, please leave a review and please make sure you share the show. A little support, whatever you can do, goes a long way. And now back to the program. Stephen, I just want to get your thoughts, man, just before we move off welterweight. So what do you do with the division in the meantime? Let's say Islam's moving up. Like, who would you put Ian Gary against? Who would you match him up with, like a Sean Brady? And then what do we do with the winner of Buckley and Usman, for example? And then we've got Shavkat as well, right? What do we do?
Bro, that's what makes this, and it's been a while since the welterweight division has been kind of like this exciting, to be honest with you. Because it's, because sometimes the welterweight division, a lot of people try to hold on to their spots and it gets stagnant, it gets a little boring. But now it's like crazy. Like, who are these guys going to fight next? What are the next matchups going to be? And it's going to be up to, the health of the fighters. Obviously, Shavkat Rakhmonov is coming off of a knee injury, which is why he couldn't fight. I think he should wait to fight the winner of, I think he should get the next title fight. I mean, obviously JDM ends up winning, so I think it's fair that Shavkat Rakhmonov gets that next title fight. Maybe the winner of that will determine if Islam should go up and fight him. But I think he should get the next title fight, if he's ready, if he's healed up in time. Ian Gary, maybe Sean Brady. I think that would be a good one. Or the winner of Buckley and Usman, like
Leon Edwards, maybe? Ian Gary?
Leon, that would be a good one.
Because he got kicked out of Leon's gym, right? Or something
yeah,
like
man.
that.
I would love to fight. That's a guy I've been trying to fight for a long time. Was Leon Edwards. I think that would be an awesome fight. I think Ian Gary, I think that would be an amazing fight versus him, versus Leon Edwards. Ian Gary versus Leon Edwards, I think it would be great. Because I think, where's he ranked right now? I think he's still higher than Ian Gary, correct?
Yeah, let's have a look. And by the way, like the UFC rankings, right, make absolutely zero sense these days. Like, I'm pretty sure Kamaru Usman is still, like, with all due respect to him, but he hasn't been active in a while. Right now, as it stands, Belal Muhammad's up there, so I don't think he'll be fighting for a little bit, so he's going to be out of action. Sean Brady, number 1, Shavkat, number 2, Leon Edwards is ranked number 3, Kamaru is number 4, JDM number 5, Gary number 6, Buckley number 7. And under there, it's Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington, Jeff Neal, and of course, your sweet self, my brother.
Let's go. Oh, man. Dude, that's the thing, man. Now that a lot of these, because for a while there, I couldn't get a fight because everybody ranked above me already had fights coming up, right? They were already booked. So I was kind of in a spot. I've got, 2 fights left on my contract. I want to see him out. I want to see him through. I want to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
And kind of wait for this welterweight division to kind of, fizz out a little bit, to kind of see who wins, kind of see who loses. There was talk about me fighting, Carlos Prates, which I think would be a really cool fight.
Yeah, what was up with that? Was that an actual thing that happened, or is that just people wanted to see that fight happen?
No, what it was is I was doing an interview and I think it just came up, would you like to fight him? And of course, I would like to fight anybody in the welterweight division. You say I fight, would you fight JDM? Of course. Shavkat Rakhmonov, I would fight him again, of course. So it's one of those things, would you mind fighting him? No, I wouldn't. Oh, Steve Wonderboy Thompson calls out Carlos Prates. No, dude, I didn't call him out. Okay, I just said I would like to fight him. Just because he's a great striker, you know what I mean? Like
Of
two
course.
great strikers. Same thing with Leon Edwards. I bet you he would want to fight a striker. I mean, out of all the grapplers that he's been facing lately, why not give him a striker? So, and I've been trying to make that fight happen for a while now, but I don't think it would ever happen. Um, but yeah, man, I think Ian Gary would be awesome for a Leon fight. I think the winner of Buckley and Usman should fight Sean Brady. I think Shavkat Rakhmonov should get the next title fight. Belal Muhammad will be out for a while, obviously from the cut. There you have it. I think you should make Steve Wonderboy Thompson a matchmaker.
Yeah, man. And then we got Gilbert Burns this weekend as well.
Oh,
Against Marias
Burns.
as well.
Wait, who is Burns fighting?
He's fighting Marias, isn't he?
Oh,
Yeah, Michael Marias.
another good striker. Great talent. Oh, man, this is going to be amazing. Oh, I can't wait, man. I forgot about that one. What the flip did.
I know, dude. And you know what's interesting about Gilbert Burns? He's kind of like sneakily, I know you know the man well, but he's kind of sneakily underrated because he gave Hamzat a tough fight. And then in the fight with JDM, he had a lot of success as well, but he just can't sort of.
He was
he's
winning
still the guy
fight.
that gives everyone a tough fight, right?
Yeah. He was winning the fight. I mean, I'll just say that he was winning the fight, and then I think in that third round they were both exhausted. This is what makes JDM very dangerous. He can turn a fight around. Like he stays in the moment, and he's so hyper competitive that he's comfortable with the grind. And he was just like, I'm gonna beat you. I'm just gonna, he defended the takedown off. And knowing in that third round that Burns uses a lot of energy, especially when it comes to his wrestling. He tries to conserve it, but if he feels like he's losing, which JDM was very dangerous on his feet, so he forced Burns to shoot for the leg and try to hold JDM down. And JDM's so strong and got great takedown defense. Burns just wore himself out, and I think JDM felt that, like he was getting tired. And at that third round, just hit him with that final knee and finished him off. But I think Gilbert was winning up until that point. So yeah, I think he's so underrated and ridiculously strong. He's also got some good boxing. I mean, knocked out Damian Maia. He's got good hands. He's got power in his hands. But I think how do you say his name? His opponent,
Morales.
Yeah, I don't want to say Marias, but Morales. He's got great striking. So it could go the same route as JDM, depending on how well his takedown defense is. Now, if Gilbert can get him down and hold him down, I think he wins it. Yes, it will be boring, but I think he wins the fight. If Carlos has got good takedown defense, hard to hold down, and if he keeps his range, I think he could finish Burns. You see what I'm saying? So
it's going to be fascinating, man.
It's all who just makes their game plan work.
Let me ask you about, okay, let's just go back to you for a second. So in the round, I'd love to see you fight Leon Edwards. I actually think that's a great fight. So if we were ranking sort of who you would like, ideally, we've got Leon Edwards, we've got Carlos Prates, and I guess the other fight is like MVP, right? Like everyone's always wanted you an MVP to mix it up. That's a big fight. Any of those names sort of you prefer, or is it anyone else that I'm leaving out that you'd like next for your return?
I mean, no. I mean, we'll see what happens with the Gilbert Burns and Prates. I mean, I think that would be a good fight too if Prates wins, because I know he's a good striker. But usually everybody, I get that a lot. The MVP, the MVP. I think he wants to stay at 185, is what I'm hearing. But I think it could have the potential to be a very boring fight. The fact that we are both counter strikers, we both have that karate style. We kind of know, he's a good buddy of mine as well. So it would be very difficult for one to kind of go out of their comfort zone and really push the other, knowing that that's their game plan. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was almost like after me and Tyron Woodley felt each other, we knew each other going into that second fight. It was kind of a boring fight. It was one of the most boring fights, I think, of that year people were talking about. I knew what he was going to do. He knew what I was going to do. And we just kind of stood there looking at each other. We got boozed for days. And I think could possibly go that route. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which, everybody wants to see karate fighter versus karate fighter. But us knowing each other, it's like, me and him both want to put on a show for the fans. I mean, you see how exciting he is when he gets somebody that comes after him. And the same thing with me. Like we want we want guys to kind of fall into our traps, if you will. Not saying that he couldn't catch me or I couldn't catch him, but we want to make the fight exciting for the fans in the UFC. So I think Morales would be a good. Prates would be a fun one. Leon Edwards would be like prime. I've been trying to get that fight for the longest, actually.
I think that makes a lot of sense, man. Like a main event over there.
Been there before, man. And the first time I went, though, it was like, you know, I kind of didn't want to be there. It was one of those, like, you know.
Why?
Well, the UFC was pushing hard for, you know, the Darren Till fight. I was ranked number 1. He was like just pushing number 9, I think. I think he just got in the top 10. But there was a lot of guys that were more deserving of that fight than he was. But at the same time, obviously, you know, Michael Bisping had just retired, so they need somebody for that market to try to, you know, push that market. And of course, what better guy with a mouth on him and a good fighter at that time in Darren Till. But I just felt, you know, we were pushing back, like, no, I'm not going to fight this guy. Not deserving of it. Ended up happening, and oh yeah, by the way, it's in Liverpool, his hometown. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, now it's in his hometown. Like,
how are you feeling about that? Are you over the judges' scorecard on that one? Like, a lot of people had you.
Yeah, I mean, I went back and watched that fight a ton. I thought I had won it, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is, and I'm still here. You know, the oldest guy in the UFC, still doing it, brother.
Yeah, man, and with your style as well, it's so impressive. You're still lightning quick.
Thanks.
We've never seen anybody, you know, usually it's more of like a wrestling heavy sort of plotting heavyweight that hangs around, but you're like a lightning quick striker who still looks great. So is the plan to see out these 2 fights and then see what's up? Or do you have like, do you want an Anthony Smith thing where it's like, everyone knows it's your last fight and then the UFC puts together like a bit of a package? Like, what would you prefer?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind any of that, going that route. I want to see what happens after my next fight. Let's see what happens, you know, how I feel. If I go out there and I put on a show and I surprise myself, the UFC, the fans, well, I say myself, it's just the fact that, you know, I'm considered the oldest guy in the UFC, but I still feel like I'm 29. Like, physically, I really do feel just as fast as I was before. I mean, the Buckley fight, I felt fast. I felt precise. It's one of those things I got caught. You see what I'm saying? So I still feel great. I've only been knocked out twice in my entire fight career, from some really good guys. So yeah, I want to see how I feel my next fight. If I go out there and it starts the guy, give me the next one. If I go out there and starts that guy, hey, well, you know, we'll see. We'll keep on going. But it really depends on how I feel. And I do definitely want to plan it out with the UFC. I've always, you know, I've been with the UFC for years, for a very, very long time. And they've done really well with me. And I'm thankful for what they have done for me. And I want to, if I do go out, I want to go out with them. You see what I'm saying? I want to go out.
Right. No more fights after. This would be
right.
Yeah.
So, and you never know, hopefully the analyst job will continue. I know I'll be hopefully doing some more analyst jobs in the near future. I had a great time the last time. Of course, Karen Bryant, now Alan Jabon definitely made it easy for me, but I had a great time. I enjoyed every minute of it.
I can't wait to see who the next fight's going to be. I can't wait to see you back in there. Thank you so much for joining me, dude. What a pleasure and honor.
Anytime, my man.